I had like 3 buyers coming. 2 buyers say no. It was the last buyer left that I met at a networking event. He comes in basketball shorts and a t-shirt. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to judge this situation. We'll see how it goes. And he's like, all right, this deal's pretty good. Like, what do you want for it? I said 110, but I was so nervous because I had it under contract for 100 that I kind of out negotiated myself. And I just was like, hey, look, if if you keep doing deals with me, I will sell you this deal for 105,000 bucks right now.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros podcast. I'm Kristen, and I'm here with Trevor Rice, who's the owner of Home Pros. We're going to talk all about wholesaling today, so I'm excited to get into it. Thanks for being here, Trevor.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Do you want to go into kind of what Home Pros does, what you guys do different? Give us the whole scoop.
Yeah, absolutely. Like what we do at Home Pros is we're a wholesale operation, if you want to put it basic. But I think from what makes us different is that not only do we do the pay per leads and the pay per click stuff and the Google ads, kind of what most operators do, and then we sell them off to buyers. But I think the unique approach for us for Home Pros is that we also wholesale with JV partners, whether it be working with wholesalers, working with agents. We also do novations, right? We're creative in that aspect. We work with agents, we work with banks in bid pools and work with asset managers on that end. And we also do online auctions. And I think from the disposition end, what makes us unique is we do work with hedge funds, turnkeys, REITs. We read 13F filings. We chase down the publicly traded companies and we find the nitty gritty acquisition guys in those org charts. And I think because of that, and we sign off on these NDAs and these non-circumvents, when we work with these people, it's been able to help us scale massively quickly. And I think from our end, from Home Pros, we're transparent and integrity driven. So we're here to share. I think we're very abundance mindset.
Amazing. And how have you been able to build up all these partners that you work with?
So from the acquisition side, I think it was just trust and transparency. I think the industry from a wholesale perspective lacked a lot of that. I think from a trust, integrity, and transparency standpoint, it's for integrity for us, it's not what you do out there in the public, it's what you do behind closed doors. And I think shining the light on that and being transparent while also being integrity driven and just showing like, hey, I know you don't have to see this, but we're going to show it to you anyway because we care. And I think with that, it's taken us a long way. And we were very not short-minded when it came to doing the transactions, meaning like if, we do a deal with a realtor, for instance, right? You find a deal on the MLS, any cat can go out there and find a realtor on the MLS and lowball them and get it under contract and ship it out to a buyer. But at the end of the day, what we found was the relationship is what made more sense, because if we hook on to that realtor, you never know, in 3 years, that realtor could be the number one realtor of that market. And then you now are best friends with them because you're doing the right thing. And even though you may lose money, or even though you may lose a deal here and there and lose money altogether for a deal, it's still worth it in the end, because I think overall with the volume, that abundance mindset and that transparency, it enables us to do a lot more deals. And it becomes more inbound than it is outbound. And I
Right.
think when we grow our relationships, we notice that, man, if we just went 50 miles deep rather than 50 miles wide, that goes a lot farther. And that's what we did there to gain those relationships.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Yeah, I think that's a really good breakdown, and it's so important in this business. It's really about your network. Yeah, I think that's wonderful. And so tell us how you even got into the wholesaling space to begin with.
Oh man, it's a funny story. I'll make it quick because it's kind of a long one. So like I actually I grew up in a very very small farm town. My parents were very like blue collar. They didn't really believe in the college and going to be an attorney or a doctor. It was very like get your hands dirty. I was a pretty boy growing up. My hands were not calloused by any way, shape, or form. I had a knack and ability to use my brain to do stuff, and my parents just really didn't get that. But going out at 18 years old, like I just kind of went out on my own, was couch surfing at buddies' houses, and I wanted to get into real estate. I started Googling, like just like anybody else. I was like, how do you become a millionaire? Like I just had this thing where I was like, man, I just want to chase a dream, and I want to chase the money, and I want to see what I can do, what's out there. And then of course, you find real estate is creating a lot of millionaires at the time. And so I was like, how do I get in that? Let me go get my license. Well, in the state of Illinois, where I was from originally, a little farm town, you have to be 21 to get your real estate license, which is a fun
Ah,
fact. And
interesting.
so I was 17 at the time, and I was like, man, like have these big dreams, and they're already crushed day one. So I started figuring out you go to Missouri across the river, you can be 18 and get your license. And then when I started going to networking events, I realized that you don't even have to get your license. You can go wholesale. And so that's where I learned kind of creative wholesale. And then I went to the famous YouTube University, right? I started watching Phil Pusiowski with Free Mentor, one of my favorites. That one really got me off the couch. And watching Jerry Norton, that was another true hero of mine. And that's where I started learning that. And then Max Maxwell, I got addicted to some of his videos, and I watched them religiously. And then I got obsessed. A year later, I did my first deal. It took me literally, I think it was like a year and a half total before I actually got my first assignment fee. But it was still to this day the craziest story ever. A realtor randomly calls me. I was just at a networking event. I guess he saved my number. I didn't even remember the guy. John Grissom, shout out to you. That was amazing, right? But he called me. He was like, "Hey, I need help selling this listing. It's not on market yet." I made him an offer. I shot it to the buyers that I had met at networking events. And again, mind you, at this time I was couch surfing. I had zero money into my pocket. My wife now, who I've been with for 11 years, she was with me when I had nothing. I had my last $20 to go to this showing, and I had like three buyers coming. Two buyers say no. It was the last buyer left that I met at a networking event. He comes in basketball shorts and a t-shirt. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to judge this situation. We'll see how it goes. And he's like, um, all right, this deal's pretty good. Like, what do you want for it? I said 110, but I was so nervous because I had it under contract for 100 that I kind of out negotiated myself. And I just was like, hey, look, if if you keep doing deals with me, I will sell you this deal for 105,000 bucks right now. And so I said right now, and I was a newbie, right? So I didn't know what I was saying, but he's like, right now, right now. I was like, yeah, yeah, we sign a contract and go forward, right? Well, he steps out, comes back in, he brings $5,000 in cash, throws it on the kitchen table and says, "Sign this assignment agreement in this receipt book and get out." And so I literally got $5,000 in cash, didn't ask questions. I left and I was like, wow, this is crazy. I've never seen a deal like this. And he calls me back 20 days later and he's like, I appreciate you doing the business you did. And he brought me another 5 grand. So I did make the 110, and I got addicted at that point. I started trying to be resourceful. And because I didn't have any money for marketing, I was doing everything, from the auction.com stuff to trying to pay 3 cents at skip tracing, whatever I could to try to get a deal, and then also JVing, of course. That
You
was
seem
that was
like
the start.
Yeah, I mean, that's an incredible story, and that'll get you into the game for sure. It seems like you have
Yep.
a really good mix of learning and education, but also doing and learning on the job. Can you just talk about that balance between the 2?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah, it was I think a big thing for a lot of people that I checked my ego at the door. I think that was for me what I had to do, and I think that created the balance that you're talking about because I had humility and I knew that I was on the bottom, and I knew that because I was at the bottom, the only way is up, and I was like, my back was against the wall, like, I had nothing left. I had a couch to my name, like, it was one of those things where it's like, all you have is up. What is there left, And so because of that humility that I had, I think that got me into a lot of rooms that I wasn't supposed to be in, I would stay late at the networking events. Then, that's one little trick, right, that you probably know about where it's like, you go to the after parties, you really talk to people deeper than just shaking hands and trying to want. Hey, I want a deal or I want this. It was more like, I just want relationships. I want to do something. And I think that on the job training of just like having that humility with the on the job training, that really helped me out a lot, transcend my career. But I think also on top of it, like the education piece, I think it was just the obsession of when I got that first wholesale deal. I was really going back to YouTube University. And again, there wasn't a lot of education and gurus out at the time, but the ones that were really impactful for me. I just obsessed over it, and I tried to like look at it from different perspectives, and having that, I dropped the ego at the door again. Like, I was very open perspective. I didn't have the blinders on, and I was really big on just trying to understand the game fully and trying to
Right.
absorb as much as I can. And I had a little bit of analysis paralysis. I know a lot of people have analysis paralysis. That was normal. That's honestly probably why it took me a year to do my first deal. I was so scared. But I think once I started going to the networking events, that was my first like foot out the door, literally, to like going out and like just, okay, I can leave the house, I can get my keys, I can go drive to something, I can go network with one person, and hopefully that gets me somewhere. And that was like my first step of going on the job. And then you start to hear all these gurus and people in person, and oh, that guy's full of crap. Oh, that guy's legit, and he's doing a lot of deals. And you start to just stop and listen, and you leave your ego at the door. Like, you learn so much very, very quickly. And that's where I was like, okay, I got to start taking action sometime. So that's
Yeah.
that's for me where's that balance came in.
Absolutely, and it sounds like you are really great at building relationships, whether it be people you work with or, your partners, your mentors, all of that. How does that bleed into, working with employees and hiring people and creating a good culture within your business?
It's an awesome question. So I think from a networking perspective, when I started networking, I was crap at it. I had like the butterflies in my stomach, and like I was nervous to talk. And still to this day, like I went to the American Money Private Lenders Conference over in Vegas a few weeks ago, and I was in the Caesars like super nervous. And I think it was just pushing past that nervousness and having the tough conversations and
Okay.
like having the courage. I think that that kind of helped me out a lot with building out the relationships. And because of that, going to like, for instance, I went to a mixer event, and that's how I got one of my sales reps who ended up leaving a very large company with a very large name for 4 years. And I landed another rep that was 15 years in the game, a GM, mind you, who would work for me as acquisitions. And that came from literally just, again, that humility, the transparency, and integrity. I think when I just like expanded and I talked about my dream with passion, and I was just like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Do you want to go with me or not? And like, I'm totally transparent. Here's this, here's my financials, here's what's going on, here's what I'm trying to do, here's my marketing efforts, and here's my goal, and here's what I want to end up in. And I think that me having that entire pathway carved out, I think that people really took that in as like, oh man, this guy actually cares. Like, he actually gives a crap about where he's going in his career, and he has a goal that's above him. And that was what was really cool. And what was so funny about it too, Kristen, is that it became a snowball effect. It was like once one person came into my team, and then they're like, oh wait, this experienced person's joining Trevor, and then this person's joining Trevor. Like, what's happening over there, you know? And so then it built up this curiosity. And then what I noticed, which is the coolest thing ever, was that Home Pros mission became bigger than my dream. And that
Mhm.
was really beautiful moment for me, as like the team now became very defensive about what we're about. And like if I have a bad day, they're like, whatever, Trevor, we still got to hit this goal.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Like, let's go, dude. And that for me was like, oh, wow. And so I think that again, that transparency, humility, and integrity, I think that goes very, very far. That's one of my core values. And from that, you got to show up, right? And you got to show out. And I think when you show them the shut up check, right? The commissions, the base pays, the stuff like that, I think when you show the money, right? And you show the closings and you show that you're about that and you're not faking it, I think that also helped a ton. I think real recognizes real. That's one of my favorite quotes. So that really, really helped.
Definitely. And I know that with Home Pros, you guys are just doing things a little bit differently. And it seems like there's a more personal touch to it. Talk about kind of the narrative around wholesaling and how you guys are kind of going against that and, redefining what that means.
Yeah, 100%. So it goes deep. I mean, even today, like I know this is a collared shirt. We recommend, like I'm looking at my team now, like everybody on my team wears a collared shirt. Everybody dresses to impress. Everybody's dressing professional. It's an actual company requirement of mine. So it starts there from the beginning, right? It
Mhm.
starts from how you are perceived by others, I think is huge. I don't care what anybody says. I think when you show up in a beat up car, people are going to judge. Just park around the corner, walk around, right? Like I had to do that myself, right? But I think from that end, I think from a professional level and how we are in this business, there's a lot of people, especially from like building up the team and seeing it, a lot of people see wholesalers as very wild west, like I said to you before, and very like no regulations. They very get to do whatever they want. There's no license. They get to lie and cheat and steal and circumvent and backdoor people. And again, there are wholesalers that are like that, but I would also say that there's realtors like that. There's bankers that are like that. There are people from all levels from that. But I think when the light got shined on us from wholesalers, from a legislative standpoint, from Oklahoma, from Oregon to Illinois to South Carolina, and a lot of other states enacting a lot of laws now, attorneys are looking at us differently. Title companies are looking at us differently. A lot of these different companies are looking at us differently. I think that when they shine the light on us, I'm like, wait, hold up. You're going to shine the light on us. Let's shine the light back, you know? And I think also from shining the light back, for me to be able to shine the light back, I got to show transparency on our end. And I think a lot of these title companies, these attorneys, and everybody around think that we will circumvent, we'll cut out our own brothers to do a deal. And there are people like that. I think we need to find a way to get those people out of the business completely because they don't belong here. Like for me, if you're not here with me, you're against me, right? And I really believe like we need to find a way to get them out of here with rules and regulations. I actually kind of believe that a real estate license should be required.
Right.
Um, I don't think it's required that you need to go hang your license up at some random brokerage and then have to split your wholesale fees with that broker or anything like that. But I think from the training and education standpoint, I think we do need to educate. I think from the networks here at the networking events, it shouldn't be just a networking event. I think it should also be an education of rules, regulations, integrity is a big one that I don't think is coached on. And I think from like doing deals and not and being more ethical, I think that's a big word too. I think from that standpoint, if we can figure that out, there wouldn't be any flashlight on us. You know, they wouldn't care. They would move on to the next, right? Target. So I think from that standpoint, if we start from the bottom, from just how you're perceived, the way you're clothed, the way you're professional, the way you talk, you're not cursing, you're not being malevolent, you're not being you're circumventing people, you're not out there just for a quick nickel, you know? And I think from that perception, there's a little barrier to entry to wholesaling. And I think if we up the barrier and up the standards a little bit, I think that that will help weed out a lot of the quitters quickly. And I think it'll weed out a lot of the bad actors in the industry. And I think if we do that and we shine a light on the bad actors, I think we can get a lot better, because I think from a perspective, and I'll finish out there with, I think the perfected or the perception of like wholesalers all being bad, it's not true. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. There's a lot of us that do a lot of good things. There's a lot of people that I know that are very good people. But I will say there are a lot of gurus, right, that we all know that have big names that they're not really doing the transactions that they're saying. They are easeballing or circumventing. There's big names out there that went to prison for, wholesaling bank short sales, right? I won't go into that, but I mean, I feel like that exposure like that bad exposure, it's like we got to shine a light on that. Like, hey, those are bad actors, right? Like those aren't us, but like let's get those people away. I think if we do that, that'll really, really help. And I think also highlighting that to finish out is highlighting the good, because you got to shove out the bad and then you got to push the good. Like I think there should be more awareness of the amount of money that we save the counties, the amount of money that we save from foreclosures, the amount of people that we help. Man, I've got hundreds of stories. I think people need to highlight those stories, that what we're doing that helps these people when no one else had help and when no one else had a handout. I think that you replace that bad with the good and we'll be all right.
Definitely. Well, I think that's such a great note to wrap up on. It seems like Home Pros, you just have a great personal touch on it. It feels like you really help the people you work with. Tell everyone where to find you and where to find Home Pros.
Yeah. So if you are just a homeowner and you're looking to sell, you can come to us at selltohomepros.com. If you're somebody like an agent, a bank asset manager, you are a wholesaler that need help selling your deals and you want to do deals, you want to learn how to sell to the hedge funds, or you want to learn how to do that, we're very open door. You go to selltohomepros.com/JV. That's where you'd go for if you just need help doing a deal together and you want to do a deal with us. There's a whole portal. It asks you a ton of questions. But once you get those questions, it's pretty easy to fill out. You tell them that, Trevor sent you. I'm actually one of the owners of the company, of course. So when I see it, it'll go right into our CRM and I will take a look at it. I'll give it to one of our acquisitions people that are very, very experienced. Every single one of our acquisitions people have been here in the industry for at least 5 years and they've done at least 100 deals. So these are very, very experienced people that deal with us. So from a media standpoint or from a seller standpoint, just reach out to us at selltohomepros.com. If you want to partner up with us, selltohomepros.com/JV.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here, Trevor.
You're welcome. I really appreciate it, Kristen.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Hope you got a lot of great takeaways for you and your journey and got some inspiration for your own business. And we will see you back next time. Thank you.
Bye. Have a good one.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.